Conjuring universe is back with an official trailer for The Conjuring: The Devil Made Me Do It. The movie is the third installment in the Conjuring series and is bringing back protagonists Ed and Lorraine Warren as they take on the 1981 murder trial of Arnie Cheyenne Johnson, also known as the Devil Made Me Do It case. The movie is based on a true story of Johnson when he was the first known court case in America to plead not guilty of murder due to being possessed by the devil. The movie is set to release June 4th, both in theaters and on HBO Max. This past week, we saw the end of Marvel's latest show and a new Mortal Kombat film. Let's send it over to Adam Beam to hear if they are worth the watch.
Past Friday, we saw two big releases, one from Disney and the other from Warner Brothers. Starting off, now with all 6 episodes streaming, we have a conclusion to Season 1 of The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Overall, I thought that this was another successful outing for Marvel's Disney Plus adventures, though I think it lacked the week-to-week hype that WandaVision had. The series' strongest aspect is its characters. Finally, Sam and Bucky feel like real, full-fleshed characters and have things to do that actually contribute. As in the movies, they always felt a lot more sidelined. And here, their interactions were some of the highlights. Of course, when talking about characters, you have to talk about the breakout one from the series, Baron Zemo. I was very glad that Marvel let Zemo live at the end of Civil War, as here he turned out to be a surprisingly compelling anti-hero who steals the show with every scene he's in. The series also has some surprisingly good action, and with a certain subplot, makes this one of the MCU's most relevant outings without ever feeling too heavy-handed. The biggest downside for me, however, is that I found the series didn't have the surprise or wow factor that WandaVision had. It was definitely more of the usual Marvel fare and didn't really have too many surprises. Moving over to a far more disappointing outing, however, from this past weekend, I also checked out the new Mortal Kombat film. Now, even though I'm not the biggest Mortal Kombat fan, I was still very excited for this new film, especially with it having a well-deserved R rating. And while I know it's almost a Hollywood curse that video game movies are usually terrible, I was still very excited. However, following an amazing opening sequence, I quickly learned that the curse is very much still alive. This movie was pretty bad, the biggest issue being that of the film's script. The dialogue is flat out terrible at times. Exposition is very lazily shoehorned into conversations that have nothing to do with anything. Apart from the characters of Kano and Sub-Zero, most of them are very one-note. In fact, most of them are just there because fans will recognize them from the games. But then fans of the games will be disappointed when they discover that those characters are basically useless. Speaking of useless characters, none is more useless than our main character, Cole, one who's been created specifically for this movie. He contributes little to nothing to the film overall, and I genuinely wonder why they decided to create a new character when the franchise has such a vast selection. This is a real nothing of a character. The only reason to watch this movie, in my opinion, would be to see some Mortal Kombat fatalities come to life on the big screen in all their bloody glory. But apart from that, casual viewers and even die-hard fans will most likely be let down. In all honesty, I would still take the original Mortal Kombat from 1995 over this new film any day. If you are interested in checking out either Falcon and Winter Soldier or Mortal Kombat, Falcon and Winter Soldier is streaming on Disney+, and Mortal Kombat is currently in theaters and streaming on HBO Max. For SUTV Entertainment, I'm Adam Beam.
Billie Eilish has just announced her newest album titled Happier Than Ever and the track list. Eilish has been teasing the new project, telling fans in an Instagram post that, quote, "things are coming," end quote. The singer has gone through a few changes, from sporting blonde hair and a softer wardrobe to lighter vocals and music in her most recent singles. The final single from her album, Your Power, will be released Thursday at noon Eastern Standard or 9 a.m. Pacific. Needless to say, we are happier than ever to hear more from Eilish. Saturday Night Live has announced their next host for May 8th, and the announcement has sparked outrage from fans as well as some SNL cast members. Tech CEO Elon Musk has been given the hosting duties for next week's episode, along with musical guest Miley Cyrus. The announcement upset many who disagree with Musk's feelings towards COVID-19, who throughout the pandemic has downplayed its severity. On top of that, many have been critical of Musk's feelings towards labor unions and working conditions. Some of the cast members who have spoken out include Bowen Yang and Aidy Bryant. As of right now, despite the backlash, Elon Musk is still set to host. Saturday Night Live will air May 8th, beginning at 11:30 p.m. on NBC. The Oscars were held this past weekend. SUTV's Brady Fisher has the recap.
Nomadland.
This past Sunday, the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences held their 93rd Annual Academy Awards. Also known as the Oscars, these awards are handed out to the best in film every year. This year's ceremony looked a little different than years past due to the coronavirus pandemic, with the most notable change being the venue for the awards. The Oscars are normally held at the Dolby Theater in Los Angeles, but this year they were held at Union Station in Los Angeles to allow for guests to be more spaced out. Early in the night, both of the Screenplay Awards were handed out, with Promising Young Woman winning Best Original Screenplay and The Father winning Best Adapted Screenplay. Emerald Fennell, the writer of Promising Young Woman, became the first woman to win the award since Diablo Cody won back in 2008. In the supporting acting categories, Daniel Kaluuya took home the award for supporting actor for his portrayal of Fred Hampton in Judas and the Black Messiah. Yo Jung-yoon became the first Korean ever to win an Acting Academy Award for her work in the film Minari. While accepting her award, she made sure to tell fellow actor Brad Pitt that it was nice to finally meet him.
Mr. Brad Pitt, finally. Nice to meet you. Where were you while we were filming in Tulsa? It's very honored to meet you.
Disney Pixar's Soul also made out well on the night, taking home awards for Best Animated Feature and Best Original Score. Soul becomes the 11th Pixar film to win the Best Animated Feature award since its inception in 2002. In an unprecedented change of events, the producers of this year's ceremony decided to award the Best Picture Oscar before the lead acting categories. Nomadland took home 3 awards in total, with Best Picture being the biggest win of the night. Frances McDormand won her 3rd Best Actress in a Leading Role award for her role in Nomadland as well. With this win, McDormand ties Daniel Day-Lewis for the 2nd most lead acting Academy Awards in history. Only Katharine Hepburn has more with 4. The final award of the night seemed to also be the biggest lock of the night, but ended up being the shocker that nobody saw coming. The late, great Chadwick Boseman had swept most of the awards season in the Best Actor category, but to everyone's shock, he did not win on Sunday night. Anthony Hopkins was announced as the winner of Best Actor in a Leading Role for his film The Father. Hopkins was in his home country of Wales and could not be there to give his acceptance speech, so the awards ended abruptly to the displeasure of many fans. While this year's Oscar awards might not have been as great as years past, next year's ceremony hopes to be returned to normal for the Academy. For SUTV News Entertainment, I'm Brady Fisher.
Speaking of the Oscars, this weekend's ceremony also gave us our first look at Steven Spielberg's upcoming adaptation of the hit musical West Side Story. The trailer gives us a brief glimpse of musical numbers like America, The Rumble at the Dance, as well as the iconic Tonight sequence. The trailer also shows off its impressive cast. Despite some controversy from last year, Ansel Elgort is still set to portray Tony, actress Rachel Zelger as Maria, Ariana DeBose from Netflix's The Prom as Anita, and Rita Moreno as a new character, Valentina. The film is currently set to hit theaters this December. That's it for SUTV Entertainment. I'm Bailey Cassada. Be sure to follow us on all of our social media at SUTV News and check out our website at sutvnews.org. We're back with Ship News and more on Friday. Until then, good night.